Hello guys, this is Miss Brito here. For today's objective, you guys are going to learn how to identify independent and dependent events when dealing with probabilities. So I have two important key points here. You really need to understand what an independent event is and what a dependent event is. So when you have two events, let's call them A and B. If they are independent, that means that the outcome of the first event does not affect the outcome of the second event. So if I tell you there's two events happening, A and B, and one clearly has nothing to do with the other, or not that it doesn't have anything to do with the other, but it doesn't change what's going to happen next, then those two are independent. But if the events are dependent, then a dependent event is affected by the outcome of a second event. And we'll see what that means with the examples. So here I have example one. Mrs. Brito and Ms. G will randomly select two students from Fisk for a nomination. It says here that Mrs. Brito picks the first student, and in parentheses here says, and doesn't cross him or her name out from the list. So think about that, because sometimes you have to read and understand visualize what this is telling you. So again, there is a list of students. I chose the one I want, but I never cross it out. And Ms. G picks the second student. Are these two events dependent or independent? So when you go back to the definition of independent, you ask yourself, is the outcome of the first event affecting or not affecting the outcome of the second event? What is it going to be? So just because it says here that I did not cross the person's name out, that means that person is still part of, Ms. G can pick the person also. So nothing changes. If the percentage was, or the fraction was 1 out of 18 students, then she has the same total of students because I didn't cross it out. So it is independent. Both events are independent. So the answer here is independent. Now, if instead I would have crossed out the name from the list, now the total will change because of what I chose, right? So now that student is not going to be part of the list. So clearly for Ms. G, the outcome or her total will be affected. Her total will be, instead of, and in our Fisk class we have 18 students. Now her total would be only 17. So clearly what I chose in the beginning changed the probability that she will have next. So that would be an example of dependent outcomes. So shoot me a text or an email if you have any questions, and good luck with your IXL practice.